The Tao of Self-Confidence, episode 647. Welcome to the Tao of Self-Confidence, where I share stories of amazing women who have discovered their inner journey to self-confidence. Visit our website at thetaoofselfconfidence.com. Your inner journey to self-confidence awaits. Well, hello, friend. Welcome to the Tao of Self-Confidence, where I share stories of amazing women who have discovered their inner journey to self-confidence. I'm your host today, Sheena Yap-Chan, and today I have an amazing lady on the show today. She's a writer and producer based in Los Angeles, and I'm really excited to have her on and share her story with us today on self-confidence. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce you to Tiffany Porter. Tiffany, how are you today? Maybe you can fill in a little bit more about yourself to the listeners.
Wonderful. Thanks so much for having me today, Sheena. Thank you. It's great to be here. I'm actually, yes, a writer-producer based in Los Angeles. I do specialize in sharpening scripts and overseeing independent film projects with colleagues. I'm also currently the secretary of the Filipino-American Chamber of Commerce of Hollywood, which is an exciting environment with goals to bridge the gap between filmmakers and business people and older and younger generations of Filipino-Americans in Hollywood. And I'm also part of the digital marketing team for the Asian Wood Film Festival, which premieres in Los Angeles every fall season and connects Asian filmmakers from around the world.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that. And Tiffany, what's your cultural background?
My cultural background, so I'm actually a mix. I was born in Manila. I enjoyed my childhood in Abu Dhabi. Then I became an immigrant in San Diego. I began building myself in Los Angeles.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that. And what would be your favorite self-confidence quote?
Ooh, I gotta admit, this was a very exciting question, and it took me a while to find one that really rang to me. The one that really calls to me is a wonderful quote from one of my role models, Audrey Hepburn. She once said, "The beauty of a woman is not in the clothes she wears, the figure that she carries, or the way she combs her hair. The beauty of a woman is seen in her eyes, because that is a doorway to her heart, the place where love resides. True beauty in a woman is reflected in her soul. It's the caring that she lovingly gives, the passion that she shows, and the beauty of a woman only grows with passing years."
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that great quote. And in your own words, how do you define self-confidence?
I define self-confidence to be in tune with oneself by accepting all flaws, insecurities, and rough phases as crucial parts of the journey. I believe when one realizes that perfect progress does not exist, one can start to embrace all adversity as tools towards self-development rather than echoes of inner criticism.
Thanks for sharing that. I love how you mentioned, there's no such thing as perfect progress. I mean, there's progress, right? But nothing's ever perfect. I mean, we go through ups and downs, good and bad times, but we just keep pushing forward. And, the more we keep pushing to move forward, the better we get, and the more confident we can be. So I really love that definition. And what was your life like before your discovery of self-confidence?
Thanks for asking. It took me a long time to realize that perfect progress doesn't exist because I was bullied a lot for being different. As an immigrant, as a theater geek, for not being rich enough, not being grown up enough, not being cool enough. And as a writer, one of my top love languages is words of affirmation. So you can imagine how a preteen enduring culture shock in the early 2000s felt about herself when she was told constantly why she wasn't good enough. But despite being told that I would never be good at whatever I wanted to do, I still continued what I loved most, which was performing arts, theater, choir, and dance growing up. And that was because, honestly, the performing arts was always home to me. What I've always loved about the process of a theatrical, a dance, or film production is that the process, which goes from auditions or casting, rehearsals, or showtimes, all that allows room for development. A former acting teacher once told me that perfect is the enemy of great. You cannot achieve greatness when you do strive for perfectionism.
Thanks for sharing that. And I love what your teacher mentioned or your mentor mentioned, because we live in a world where we constantly strive for perfection, especially, we look at pictures on Instagram, everything's so perfectly curated, and we have to realize it's filtered to a T and it can play with our minds, right? And we have to realize nothing is perfect. And I just wish more people could show, being your authentic self is okay, right? Showing that we have love handles, we have pimples on our faces, and we can accept ourselves for who we are. And what was that point in your life when you realized you were more than good enough to go out there and be who you are today? What was that aha moment?
My aha moment, I wish it came sooner. I really did. If I could travel back in time, I would tell my younger self, you know what, you really gotta love everything about yourself, even the not so great parts that society or media tells you that are unacceptable. It wasn't until university that I realized this. Women are beautiful, strong, and extraordinary in their own ways. There shouldn't be a perfect standard that hangs over you like a noose of guilt, because from experience, that self-destruction would spiral you into toxicity. I finally let go of that perfect standard in my head, and I began to dwell more in passions that made me feel beautiful: filmmaking, writing, and traveling. It was then I realized that my best self is when I work at my best. Because beauty shouldn't be a surface level correction of a woman's worth. I believe that beauty is the essence of a woman's worth measured by her uniqueness. So that took me a while to figure out, but now that I've accepted and come to terms with it, not only do I try to practice that every day, but I, encourage, fellow women, also men too. It's a work in progress. We are all works in progress. And I think that's what excites me about all this.
Thanks for sharing that. And I love how you mentioned, that definition of beauty, because we're always so obsessed with the external, not realizing like the internal is way more important. And that's what actually complements your external beauty. It's because you've, put in the work. You've realized you are beautiful no matter what, right? And I know sometimes it's not always easy, especially, if, like you mentioned, you were born in Manila in the Philippines. They love promoting like having white skin, right? So there's every whitening product there is in ever made probably, and we have to tell women like you are beautiful in your own skin no matter what color it is. So I hope more women out there can realize they're just beautiful, that just the way they are. And because of your realizations, what's your life been like now?
After the discovery, I began embracing beauty within myself, within others, and within surroundings. I realized that perspective indeed is a luxury, and I realized, there's beauty all around us, from the joy that sparks on an old friend's face after a reunion, to getting a latte in a good coffee shop that's beautiful, to feeling warmth when you're surrounded by like-minded, driven individuals. And ever since I accepted that we are all work in progresses, and that perfect progress doesn't exist, it was all just like a domino effect of these realizations I had. But after each realization, I thought, okay, I could choose to whether to dwell in a negativity, or I can choose to see the best or look for the best in everything, because life is precious. And yes, I do believe life is short, and that's what got me excited for seeing the best in everything and everyone.
Thanks for sharing that. And, to the woman who's listening to your episode, she may be in her own journey to self-confidence. What would be that one tip you would give to her?
I would say to a beautiful woman who doesn't realize it yet, in spite of all adversity, you are beautiful, you are strong, and you are extraordinary enough to become your best self. If you are struggling to grasp any inkling that you are not good enough for anything or anyone, be aware that your 165 days from now self is currently your biggest fan, your greatest supporter. She is thankful for the adversity you will overcome in the next 364 days, and she's looking forward to meet you. And trust me, I do believe that you are enough. Everyone's enough, and everyone's beautiful in their own ways, and everyone has a place here and in this short life that we have.
Thanks for sharing that great tip. And, if our listeners want to get to know a little bit more about you and what you do, or check out some of your work, is there any links or social media profiles we can connect with?
Absolutely. I am most present on Instagram. You can find me at Tiffany May Porter. That's all lowercase, no spacing and no underlining. Tiffany May Porter, and that's May with an E. And of course, if there's any inquiries for those that love to sharpen scripts or get together for coffee around Los Angeles, you can email me at tiffanymayporter@gmail.com. And last but not least, you can check out if you're a filmmaker that's looking to connect with more Filipinos in Hollywood, or if you're curious to the whole scene, you can check out the Filipino-American Chamber of Commerce of Hollywood website at fachollywood.org. That's FACC Hollywood.org.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that. And to our listeners, if you want to connect with Tiffany, you can also head on over to the taoofselfconfidence.com and search for Tiffany's name. Her show notes will pop up along with everything else that we talked about. And I really just want to thank Tiffany for taking the time to share her story and tips with us on self-confidence. So thank you so much, Tiffany.
Thank you for having me, Sheena. I think it's wonderful that you have this podcast, and I'm so excited for the community that you're going to continue building. So thank you.
Not a problem. It was really great having you on the show. And to our listeners, be on the lookout for another new episode of another amazing woman's journey to self-confidence, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.
Bye.
Thank you for tuning in to another amazing episode of The Tao of Self-Confidence. Visit our website at thetaoofselfconfidence.com to check out cool resources, blog articles, show recaps, and so much more. Your inner journey to self-confidence awaits.